In this problem, we want to test the claim that most adults would erase all of their personal information online if they could. So once I have the claim identified, I'm going to get started by writing the null and alternative hypotheses. So since it says most adults, that means more than 50%. So I write H0 for my null hypothesis, H1 for the alternative hypothesis, and the alternative hypothesis is our claim. That's that the proportion is greater than 50%. And if that's the alternative hypothesis, then the null hypothesis is that the proportion is equal to 50%. You could put the 0 or not, whichever you prefer. So the null hypothesis always has to have an equals in it. So that's how we know that the alternative is the greater than statement. Let's see. So we've got our null and alternative hypotheses. This is about a proportion, and there's only one proportion. So we are doing a one-prop z-test. And this is number 5 in your calculator. If you go to stats and then press test. So let me put that up here. So you're going to go to stats, you're going to press the stats button, and then go to tests. And we're doing our one prop z test. So the first thing that they're going to have you enter is the value of P0, and that's the value in the null hypothesis. So that's going to be 0.5. Notice that there's a little 0 here, and there's the little 0 here, so they kind of match up like that. You don't have a 0 here in the variable in the null hypothesis. P0 is supposed to be representing a number value, and P in the null hypothesis is just the variable itself that can have different values. All right, so P0 in this problem is 0.50, and then we have the value of x. I'm going to calculate this value by taking 63% times, what did we have? 491 randomly selected adults, and we get 309.33. We have to turn this into a whole number. I'm going to round that to the nearest whole number, and that is 309. So 309 is what you actually want to put in there for x. N is the number in the sample, and that's the 491. And next, we need to put in what is the alternative hypothesis. So we're going to put, for prop, we're going to select greater than P0, because this says greater than 0.50 and P0 is the 0.50. So we want those to match up. The direction of the inequality sign never flips on this. So whatever inequality sign you have here in the alternative hypothesis, you want to use that same inequality sign in the calculator. And then we can choose either calculate or draw. And for the test statistic, I get z equals 5.73. And that's rounded to 2 decimal places. The p-value, if you need that, is just going to round to 0, because we've got 4.99 and so on, e negative 9, and that's a very small value that rounds to 0 if you round to 4 decimal places. So I think all you need in this problem is the test statistic, and that's what we have here. And that's the end of that problem.